Going way back, almost a year ago on this channel, we predicted that the MetaZoo marketplace was in a bear market and that you can expect prices to be on the decline pretty much throughout the year 2022. And this point was reiterated repeatedly. Despite my general enthusiasm for MetaZoo, prices are going down. So I've gotten a lot of requests for a new state of the market update. People want to know, what can we expect next? Why have prices been going down? And how I can remain positive in my overall opinion about MetaZoo as a company and a brand and the direction that they're going, despite the fact that I've been simultaneously calling out price declines. This is your first quarter 2023 state of the market and everything you need to know. Let's go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Argos Anonymous. I am Argos. If you have stumbled across this channel from somewhere out there in the internet and you don't yet know exactly what we are everything MetaZoo, up-to-date accurate news and information, product reviews, crazy shenanigans, swashbuckling, sword fights, explosions, the occasional giveaway, ridiculous shenanigans, market predictions, basically everything MetaZoo, and then a broad splash of TCG and market dynamics in general. If that sounds like something you would like, then subscribe, and that's what you'll get. So contrary to some comments left by idiot keyboard warriors across several social media platforms, this channel has actually been predicting price declines and a bear market in MetaZoo going back to almost a year ago. Impossible, says Mr. Spiky Pants, the failed flipper. Argos loves the zoo, and you can't love something if it's not a good fast flip for profit. Okay, Mr. Smarty McSpiky Pants, shall we review?
And so the Federal Reserve is sucking money out of the market. What do you think is going to happen to the markets when the Fed, the biggest bank, essentially, is sucking money out of it? They're gonna go down.
They're gonna go down.
They're gonna go down.
So that was 9 months ago in a video titled The Real Reason Markets Are Crashing. And the information has held largely true. Although the Fed rate isn't the only reason that the MetaZoo marketplace is going down, it is a major factor because essentially the Fed rate is the cost of money. Think of it as the cost of money, not for you or me, but for the very wealthy individual, wealthy people, banks, institutions, corporations, stuff like that. And then those people, they are able to borrow money at a certain cost, and then that fuels other financial systems, including you and I. It fuels, wage growth and expansion, new jobs, all kinds of stuff. And that trickle down money makes its way into non-traditional marketplaces and traditional marketplaces like stocks, bonds, commodities, collectibles, real estate, etc. So when the cost of money goes up, it is gravity. It is gravity to financial markets. So this is a chart showing the Fed rate. So this video, this state of the market, the real reason markets are going down, this video happened around April 2022. And you can see over here, this is the effective federal funds rate. This is the cost of money in the United States. And it is way down here. Money is not very expensive back here. And look, all it's done is go up. So as expected, as the money drained out of financial markets, especially those that were vulnerable to pullbacks, were going to pull back. It was inevitable because money is draining out of the system. In addition to that, though, the MetaZoo market had boomed. It had gone completely insane. Boxes that were sold for $60 when they first came out, less than a year later, were hitting $10,000. This is a huge amount of money that is on the table for anyone who, had bought it cheap. As soon as the prices start to go down, they're going to start to want to take that money off the table and put it in the bank, right? And so you're just going to get selling. Even now with Kickstarter boxes still at like $3,000 to $3,200 or so, or $2,900 to $3,200, that's still, if you think about it, anyone who bought these at $1,000 or $1,500, which I doubt there are too many people left who, if they're going to shake out, I feel like most of them have shaken out, but that's still a lot of money left on the table for someone who picked it up at cost, right, at initial cost, and they have a couple $1,000s of profit made in almost no time at all. That is a massive percentile return for a normal investment. That's a lot of money. And so when you have a momentous price increase, especially in something that's new and unproven and shaky and FOMO and stonks and animal spirits, you can meet with a similarly momentous decrease as soon as the trend starts to turn around. And that's what we're seeing with MetaZoo. It basically, we knew when the Fed started cranking that rate up, we knew that the direction could no longer be up because the broad market wouldn't support it. It was really easy to say, well, if it can't go up, I guess it's time to go back down. Now, I know, like, somewhere out there on the internet, you're going to see these comments where people are angry for some reason at me because their prices have declined. And they say, Argos, MetaZoo, shill. Even though I am positive about MetaZoo, but I've been calling these declines. Like, well, what do you want from me? A map? Mr. Spiky Pants is going to say, well, Argos, you only said it one time. Well, that's actually not entirely true. Let's go back to last August.
My concern with Kickstarter is that even though lately it seems to have found its footing, it seems to have found a bit of a floor. It's even recovered a little bit from, I think, an all-time low of packs were selling for darn near $100 a pack for a couple of weeks, and now they've gone back up to 125, 130, maybe even 140 on some marketplaces, and that's a good sign. But the way markets tend to fall is they don't tend to fall all at once. They tend to fall for a while, and then they kind of like step back up. They go back up the escalator a little bit, and then they fall again. And so,
whoa, what? That almost sounds like we were saying that even though things were stabilizing in the summer, even though it was bouncing, prices had kind of bottomed out. They started to recover. That almost sounds like a warning saying, watch out. Things tend to bounce and then fall again. And the reason I said that, the reason I wanted to express that warning is because even though at the time prices were starting to rally back up a little bit after having fallen 50 to 60%, nothing goes straight down, just like nothing goes straight up. When Kickstarter was headed to 10,000, it didn't get there all at once. It went up to 1,500 and dropped to 1,000. It went to 3,000 and dropped back down to 2,000. It bounced around, and it's going to do the same thing on the way back down. It's going to bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce until it finds its true floor. And that's what I was saying last summer. Even though I remain enthusiastic about MetaZoo, even though I love opening the cards, I love the community, I love doing these videos, I love it. You can love a thing, you can enjoy a brand and enjoy a collectible and still be honest and realistic about where prices are going and just basic market dynamics. So what I want to talk about now is then, so what am I looking at then? If I'm not just looking at a couple of different MetaZoo product areas and price movements in order to gauge like how the MetaZoo company is doing overall, what am I looking at? I think that could be some valuable information for people out there who are looking at MetaZoo prices by themselves, and not just all products too, only certain prices, and they're making broad assumptions about MetaZoo as a brand and the health of MetaZoo and interest in MetaZoo based on these couple of areas. So what am I looking at then? What are the factors that I'm using to evaluate the health of MetaZoo and the direction of the MetaZoo company? What am I using to decide whether or not I'm still looking forward to what's coming and positive about where MetaZoo is happening, which I am, by the way. What are those factors? Because if you find yourself just focusing on a couple of MetaZoo products, and then based on the price movement of those products, you're making broad assumptions about the MetaZoo brand overall and what's going on, which is what I see on like Facebook and some other YouTube videos, then you're taking a really overly simplistic view of things, and you're going to be wrong more often than you're right. So the first thing that I look at is I want to look at the overall interest in MetaZoo and the trend of eyes on MetaZoo. And I do consider pricing and everything, but I want to see, does a decline in the value of certain products, is it coinciding with a decline in the number of eyes on MetaZoo and the volume of interest in MetaZoo? And I measure this by interaction with Instagram, YouTube, Google, and my website, because I run a blog and I sell products on my website, argosanon.com. It's not a plug, it's just we're going to lead into how this is important. I can take essentially the metadata of all of these different platforms that I operate, news blog, a bunch of different social media platforms, my Discord, my website, and whatnot, and I can trend that over time. And so when I see a decline in prices, am I also seeing a decline in orders? Am I seeing a decline in views and clicks, in commentary, stuff like that? And if I'm not, then I feel okay about it. But take a look at this traffic data from my purely MetaZoo website. So again, this website does nothing but MetaZoo, and here's what I have just in the last 12 months. So you can see on the top, it tells you the total number of site visitors. This is not unique visitors. A lot of people just go every day and hit refresh to look for stuff. This is 164,369 site visitors of argosanon.com, which again is a purely MetaZoo website, with the exception of occasionally selling like one Pokemon booster box with very low Pokemon traffic. And then it breaks it down by month. And so you can see the volume of interest in MetaZoo spikes and declines, and you often do see correlates in the MetaZoo marketplace to some extent with these spikes and declines. For example, here in July, this was the UFO release, and we had 16,901 views during the month of July on my website. And then I noticed in October there really seemed to be a lot of interest in Seance. Seance was a big month for MetaZoo last October, and I sold more Seance than I actually sold UFO, which was really, really cool. And what coincided with that was there was a huge spike in views and engagement on my website, all MetaZoo related, with 21,562 people hitting the argos.com site. And then in the marketplace, we noticed this too. In November and December, there was a pullback, like a pretty big pullback in the markets. Things seemed anemic. eBay auctions were just going like unbid. People really disengaged in November and December. And I did see almost basically a 50% to 60% decline in interest on argos.com for November, December, which corresponded with that. But the decline was the same last June, right? Like even these peaks and troughs so far. In June, we had 8,036 people engaging the website, and in December, we still had 8,962. So the trough actually wasn't even as low. In January, activity picked up really significantly, basically matching the activity of the UFO release last summer. And then February, we haven't finished yet at the time of the recording of this video. There's still quite a few days left in February, but as you can see, it's coming up to reach pretty close to January. So my point is, what you're not seeing is a decline. I'm not seeing a decline. So when you see these people going on, and you see in like YouTube shorts, there's a couple of YouTube channels that specialize in fake news and sensationalism that like they'll look at one product like a box of Wilderness and they'll be like, box of Wilderness, $50, MetaZoo dead. Like that's a really dumb view. When you're trying to analyze an entire marketplace, use some real data. Like put your man pants on and figure things out. Like you have YouTube analytics, you've got Google analytics. Do you have Instagram? Do you have a website? If you do, what are you doing? If you're noticing a decline, the problem is not MetaZoo. The problem is you, because this data that we just went over shows sideways trending. You have peaks, you have troughs, you have months where things are going up, you have months where things are going down. Overall, though, the number of eyes on MetaZoo are trending sideways. And what I think basically happened is you had this period, this bull market period, where you had this exponentially increasing eyes and interest on MetaZoo, and then it peaked approximately last like February, March in 2021, almost a year ago. It peaked, and then you've had these like dips and peaks since then as MetaZoo trends sideways and consolidates. But then what's hitting the market prices is you have a background of, number one, a lot of people who bought into MetaZoo made a ton of money. And so when the prices weren't going up anymore, they started to cash out. Number two, the background of the Fed rate increases is pulling money out of all financial markets. These are hard times, and inflation is hitting pretty hard. So people are cashing out because of that too. But it's not eyes on MetaZoo that are failing. That's going sideways. And so that is a reason why I'm still bullish on MetaZoo, and I still feel good about MetaZoo, and I'm enjoying collecting it, and I'm not worried about it. I would become concerned if I saw that starting to trend down, but I'm just not seeing that. And I'll keep watching this, and we'll do another video like this in the future, and I'll show you guys if we start to break that trend, break that consolidation to the upside or to the downside at some point, next summer or something, we'll do another state of the market video like this, and I'll show you where we're going. Number two, the next thing that I really want to see with MetaZoo all the time is improvement. I want to see improvement over time, because MetaZoo is a brand new company, right? I don't expect them to get everything perfect the first time. I really don't. They're new at running companies. They're new at a lot of the stuff they're doing. I don't expect them to be perfect, but I do expect them to be improving over time. And I think anyone that says that they haven't been improving over time has their eyes closed. Anyone who's buying the products will say that the product integrity actually rapidly improved at the beginning with security stickers and custom shrink wrap and custom holo. The quality of the holo and the quality of the cardstock has been significantly improved over the first 2 years. We're seeing a lot of areas of product improvement. As far as the leadership of the company goes and the staffing model goes, they've been refining their staffing, like who's running events, how the MetaZoo Play Network works, who's getting medals and how that works. They've been kind of working on their logistics over the course of 2021 and 2022. And we've seen from a leadership side, they stopped banning people several months ago. Now, if you act up in the MetaZoo Discord, you just get a temporary mute and then you're welcome to come back. They do have to keep that Discord very clean, but they're not using that nuclear option anymore of banning people. Like it's really calmed down, and these are all very clear signs of progressive company improvement. And so that's all we ask. We don't ask for perfection. We just ask for improvement over time. The third thing I want to see is financial solvency. I like to see that the sales are robust. I like to see that they're making money and that they're doing well and that they're making good decisions with that money. Bear Walker is a limited drop they recently did where they sold premium $250 skateboard promo cards in the middle of the winter, in the middle of a bear market. And I got to be honest with you, I thought there's no way they would sell more than like 300 of these things, or maybe 400. But then I was watching a Bear Walker Instagram thing, and they were showing some reels of making the boards, and I could count 70 to 80 grims, and that by itself, if there's an equal print of all 10 different variants, implies that that they sold 700 to 800 of those Bear Walker boards, which is a couple $100,000 of sales in just one drop. And it's a premium drop. That what you heard on the marketplace was people said they weren't going to buy it. People were like, oh, it's too rich for me, which makes sense. It's a lot of money in a bear market to drop $250 on a board. That said, was still able to make a $200,000 sale on that. And that shows me that despite the falling prices and the negative attitudes, people still love the zoo, and they're just buying these boards. They're not stonking the boards, right? They're not buying them and flipping them. Like, for example, okay, we're going to type in MetaZoo Bear Walker. Okay, so normally with the limited MetaZoo drop like a year ago, what you would have seen was right after the drop, you would see eBay would immediately fill with flippers trying to dump their product that they just bought. They would like double the price and they would dump it. And look how many people are on Bear Walker. Only one listing on eBay. One. Nobody bought this to flip it. No, well, except for, and this is actually a patron of mine, and he bought it for me, and I think he's just testing it. He's like $730 is a bold ask, but he's the only one on eBay. So I like to see these continued robust sales even in the absence of flippers, because some people, you'll see them on Facebook, and it's the same guy pretty much every time, or the same couple of people. They'll say, oh, the MetaZoo marketplace is completely flippers, right? And that's wrong. This guy's a moron. He doesn't know what he's talking about, because if you just look at the marketplace, you can see the flippers are gone. They're not out there, with the exception of people offsetting travel costs by selling a few extra promos from Collecticon or whatever. This is a Bear Walker drop. It was a popular drop. They sold apparently $200,000 worth of skateboards, and there's only one on eBay. Okay, Mr. Smarty McSpiky Pants, where are the flippers? So the fact that MetaZoo can still make hundreds of thousands of dollars in a sale with no flippers is a positive sign, and it contributes to why I'm still feeling good about MetaZoo long term, even though I continue to feel that we are in a bear market. And this is why I'm going to keep making videos telling the news and telling what's going on. And if I like the products, I'll open them enthusiastically, because I genuinely like MetaZoo. I love the cards. I love the promos. I love the products. I really, really like it, even though it's a bear market. And what we're going to see going forward is we're going to see every product is going to find its actual floor. A true floor based on scarcity, because a lot of people filled their closets with random stuff. And as these positions unwind and hit the market, the hoarded products, the stonked products are going to drain down, and they're all going to run down to their true market floor based on actual scarcity. After products have found their true floor based on scarcity, MetaZoo will consolidate, because unless there's some crazy happening, I don't expect people, if they haven't dropped off yet, I expect overall eyes on MetaZoo to continue to trend sideways for a while and then eventually pull up out of this like period of consolidation, especially as they roll out the IP, books, comics, like video game. Like, as MetaZoo continues to expand and evolve, I expect eventually these numbers, these metrics that I'm looking at, will start to increase again. But in the context of a bear market, if we're still in a broad financial bear market, it's going to be hard for prices to significantly rise. That's the bottom line. Like these MetaZoo prices, most likely, everything is going to find its floor based on true scarcity. And then they're pretty much going to run sideways, because people just don't have the stonking money to pump into collectibles right now. Not in a marketplace as small as MetaZoo, not yet. So if you love MetaZoo, just continue to enjoy MetaZoo, and know that even though prices are down, and a lot of people have become increasingly negative because prices are down, know that those exact same people that are negative now because prices are down, they were super unrealistically positive when prices are up. And all this is the inverse of that, because the data shows that eyes on MetaZoo and interest in MetaZoo is just trending sideways. And if you're here for the love of the zoo, just keep loving the zoo and ignore the prices, because this too shall pass. And if you're looking for opportunities for future collectible stonking, just know you probably have time. We're not going to roll through this anytime soon, even when things bottom, even when they start to bottom. Most likely, they're just going to bottom, and then we're going to roll sideways with little spikes and little dips and stuff like that for quite a while. Now, the one caveat to that is if MetaZoo rolls out the IP, and if it is like an overwhelming success, which is possible. Like if the animated shorts are really good, you could see a lot of revived interest in stonking pouring back into MetaZoo. You could see that, and I do expect the story to be good. I personally I like the lore, I like the MetaZoo universe, so I think it'll be good. And the war set this summer I think is going to be really good, and I think people are going to be really excited for it. So there is a lot going on for MetaZoo, and if it all lines up perfectly, it could defy the broad bear market that will almost certainly still be going on. But just be cautious, because when you're jumping from a point of broad market, bear market financials, it's hard to jump too high without falling back down. Take your time, be careful with your money, and just enjoy the products, enjoy the cards, enjoy the community, enjoy the zoo, and don't put too much stock in the salty rantings of these people who don't know what they're talking about, other than to jump on socials and rat-a-tat-tat on their keyboard about the price of a wilderness box. That's all I've got for now. Thank you, MetaFan, for stopping by. I always do appreciate this opportunity to entertain you fine peoples of MetaZoo. This is Argos, signing out.